Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rob Has a Podcast. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, here tonight to talk about this HOH and nomination episode of Big Brother 27 here on a Sunday night. And with me to talk through this episode, I have some wonderful guests that I will not use my podcast hosting takeover power to replace. First of which is Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Oh, Taran, I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm just gonna pay very little attention to you guys during the rest of the podcast and kind of look off at the rest of the people here with
Matt,
us
what are you looking
the
at?
whole time. There's a lot of kitchen chairs and
Matt, there's nobody else in your room. I know this.
Oh no. But what I don't know. Maybe something else will come up tonight. I don't know. Keanu?
Well, hopefully my other guest will look me in the face. It's Chappell. How you doing, Chappell?
I'm not great. I'm disappointed. I'm pissed off. I'm highly upset. I'm mad. And all the other negative adjectives that I could think of to come up with how I felt watching this episode. But I'm here. And I'm happy to talk to you and Matt about this. But I don't know how much we have to talk about.
You might call it a weak-ass episode. Maybe Will would.
I like weenie move. It was a weenie episode. Bring back Amy. She had the way. She knew.
Yeah, she did. She did. Who knew? Amy's complaints did land better for me than Will's. Although I did like when he was talking about like Pop's back.
Mm-hmm.
We got Pop Will for a moment there.
Look, I'm just happy Amy got home in time. Some deadlines. By the way, not to dip into feeds already, but they talked about it on feeds a little too openly today about how she was, her job situation and everything like that. Look, good for her.
Yes. Well, we will be talking feeds later in the episode, but for now, we are here to talk about this HOH competition, the new HOH, what they plan to do, and then what they did do with their nominations, and we'll get through it all. Of course, we started the episode with this HOH comp, where it was the Nolan twins back on our screens to read out a news story style interview thing together, and this is where it all went wrong for me because I thought. Let me just take you on a journey, a roller coaster of a journey through me watching this.
Okay.
It's the Nolan twins. That's so fun. It's cool to see the Nolan twins on the show. Oh, they're doing a cute little segment where they speak at the same time. This is funny. It's because they're not really perfectly in sync, and clearly one of them is forgetting the words half the time, and it's awkward and funny. I'm enjoying this. Oh, it's still going, huh? Man, okay. Going a little bit too long. Oh, it's still going. It's still going. It's still going as long as this podcast segment is going, which is already too long. Oh my God, it's way too long. Please stop this. And then they had the gall to do a whole second round of it.
And that was so on purpose. And that was so on purpose. They said we have 4 to 5 recordings of Liz and Julia giving us their spiels, and we're going to at least use 2, even if not more. I want to see the unreleased tapes. I want to see the rest of them.
Oh, you don't want to see the unreleased Liz and Julia?
Well, no. So those are all released, but
they're behind a paywall at the very least. I'm just saying. Yeah, this could have gotten way worse. If I'm got to see these 2 twins doing something simultaneously, I don't mind it being this. So I'm on the opposite end of this. They went super safe, but this could have gone horribly wrong, Taran. This could have been a different show.
And listen, as it was, I was saying on my stream, I was like, this competition is to me what the Black Room competition was for Ava. I would have been like hiding in a corner. I knew exactly one answer, and it was the boom question. Because when they said boom, I thought, oh, like the Costco guys.
Yes. But that's obviously, you know, so speaking of viral people on the internet or viral moments, obviously that competition here is based off this viral clip of the two twins from, I think, Australia. That clip got me every time I watched it. I'm sorry, like it was played out eventually, but like every time it popped up on TikTok, whatever, I laughed. The people would say that it was rehearsed and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously this was very intentional and rehearsed, but I'm sorry, it worked for me. It was funny. Liz and Julia, maybe other twins were available, but hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you say obviously. I did not know that until my chat let me know. I still have not seen the original. Maybe that's why it didn't work as well for me. I don't know what the clip is. Can we get some context?
Now, Taran, no one expected you to know who this clip was. This is not your, you know, that's your brand. You are not supposed to know about these.
I know about the Costco guys and boom.
Taran, please, you're embarrassing me. Stop it. You know this is not for you. You're writing books and stuff like that. Your big brain is being used for stuff that matters. We are chronically online. Stop it. Stop it, Taran. Stop it now.
You have your foot in the door. That's
you
good.
got to put some respect on Bridget and Paula Powers. They were some twins from Queensland, Australia, and they did this like carjacking interview at the same time. Like it's basically this. And so yeah, it was a parody.
He's got a gun.
But yeah, Taran, nobody. Your chat, they did what they. That's why you talk to them. They're supposed to fill you in on these minute details that don't matter.
But I do think you'll enjoy it when you get to it.
Is part of the gag that it goes on for too long, or is that a Big Brother invention?
A little bit.
It is a Big Brother. I mean, everything about Big Brother is just a little too, including the length of the season, is just a little too long. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enough. Yes. Now, something that that you may not know if you just watched the episodes and you haven't listened to the live feed updates or anything like that is that there was a little bit of controversy about this competition. And I was trying to spot if I could see any of it, but of course we couldn't. But there were complaints that there was someone who cheated at this competition. That one Rachel Riley was actually taking notes while watching the video and had to get her like whiteboard taken away from her. So that she could not write notes anymore in the competition. It would have been cool to see this if this was the case, but of course this was not in the episode at all.
Yeah. Well, so I think when this first came out about her cheating, writing notes, to me, and I feel like a lot of other people were like, well, if they didn't explicitly say you couldn't do that, then why not have it as an option? Didn't realize, of course, that the whiteboard doesn't come into play. I mean, that's usually the case. The whiteboard doesn't come into play until the tiebreaker. So you're not supposed to be writing on it until then. But hey, it's the type of thing. If you're not trying, you never know. She obviously had the whiteboard taken away as soon as she was told she couldn't do it. But anybody could have tried it.
Was Airbud cheating when he played basketball because nothing in the rules said he couldn't play basketball as a dog? I don't think so.
I mean, I think so. I think Airbud should have been disqualified. And I have two minds about this. Because one, when I read that Riley was found cheating, I was like, duh. And I was like, oh, Rachel Riley. Oh my God. Whoa. I was like, that's old news. But no, here I'm like, okay. They didn't tell her she couldn't do it. But also, Rachel has played more Big Brother days than most people. So if anybody knows this rule or knows that they cannot do this, I'd venture to say that, Rachel, if you could have done this, why haven't you done it the first 2 times you played? So I'm like, I don't know if it's just she's been sitting at home thinking about it for 5-6 years
like
or what.
Kevin Martin before her, she maybe put a binder together of all the competitions and realized, wait, they never said I couldn't use the whiteboard to take notes.
She's also just kind of malfunctioning a little bit, as we see in like another segment in this episode. Rachel doesn't know how to play Big Brother and not have power by this point in the game, at least, by week 2, and we're entering week 3, still nothing. So this kind of seemed like it was make or break for her to ensure she got the win here. Of course, she does not. But whatever it took, she was going to put the effort in.
I love her. I love Rachel. I love seeing Rachel win competitions, but again, it's coming off a little despy, just like, all right, I gotta figure out some way to win this. Let me maybe I can get away with this whiteboard thing. And don't get me wrong, we've seen people break competitions before. It's happened a billion times at this point, but like, I just feel like if Rachel wasn't feeling so, out of her depth right now with these competitions, this wouldn't have even come up. Like the old Rachel wouldn't have thought to do the whiteboard thing because she didn't need to. This Rachel is kind of like, I don't know. She feels like she's just kind of be defanged a little bit, Taran.
Well, that was part of the segment that we saw in the episode, that she's basically like, yeah, if I'm not winning comps, like who am I in this house? Like who is Rachel Riley if she's not good at this? Matt, as you pointed out, like the previous 2 times she played, she was the week 2 HOH and the first week HOH. Like she's always played this game having power or being nominated, and then winning power or sometimes being evicted. And this is a very different style of game that she's trying to play, one that doesn't rely on winning competitions. And it's not working out super well for her. She's not finding the influence that she needs. An HOH here would have been huge. And the fact that she lost it to Lauren means that she is powerless for the week in the spot where somebody that she is not connected to and has no influence over now has that power. And, genuinely, despite having played 2 times, this is an unfamiliar position for Rachel. It's either like she wins or her enemy wins and that enemy is taking a direct shot at her. This is new territory.
Yeah, and she's used to being the star of the show, which of course she still is no matter what happens throughout this season here, but she's had to make her moments, and we've seen those moments, your moments with Keanu, the joking moments with Jimmy, all that kind of stuff. But when you're HOH, it just comes to you. The cameras are on you 24/7. There's still times this season, whether it's feeds or the episodes, that I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, Rachel Riley's in the house. What are you doing here? And that, speaks well to her game. And I guess it speaks well to the strength of the rest of the cast, but not for one moment on Big Brother 12 or 13 did you ever forget that Rachel Riley was in the house while she was in the house.
Yeah, it's tough because on the one hand, yeah, Rachel winning is part of that's Rachel. We love chaotic, argumentative, combative Rachel who's gonna win. If you beat her, she's gonna beat you back. Like we love that. We love the back and forth from Rachel, but there's an opportunity here for Rachel to play a game that doesn't rely on competition and really solidify herself as a good Big Brother player. I think a lot of people like to put asterisks by Rachel's win due to the way it happened, or say that she's not that great of a player. She doesn't have, she has all these weaknesses in the game. This kind of reminds me of, maybe Sandra in Survivor Game Changers. Mm-hmm. She comes in and she has to take a different role than she used to. She's so used to playing the background, but now she has to take control. And people watch Game Changers like, hold on. Okay, I see what y'all were saying about Sandra. I kind of see it. Rachel has the opportunity to do that, but she has to get out of her own head about it. So you're not winning power. There are other ways for you to get what you want, like manipulating Lauren, because everybody in this episode is going to have the same exact idea. You, Lauren, shouldn't let people manipulate you. You should let me manipulate you. And that's the kind of thing that can help you win Big Brother when you can't win comps.
Yes. So ultimately, we see Lauren win the HOH pretty dominantly, I would say. The elimination style quiz competitions are more of a crapshoot than the points style. But she very confidently had the correct answer when nobody else did. Mickey changes her answer at the last moment to match hers. And then she wins one question after that, beating Mickey and winning this HOH. She says in the diary room, nobody can underestimate her or not take her seriously anymore. And I gotta say, having watched this episode, getting through this episode, I'm not sure that the effect that she intended is happening. That it feels like perhaps as she stares at the screen while they talk to her, the opposite may in fact be happening.
Yeah. Well, we also, of course, had to be introduced to Lauren in this episode, which was a big, exactly. So sad to have to look at it that way, but that was literally Rachel's DR. Like, wait, who's Lauren again? Which one is she? And that happens in the early couple of weeks in the house, that people have to be reminded of each other's names every so often. I think Ava did it a bunch of times on feeds, which were all very funny. But yeah. Lauren has power now, just like that. And not just the house has to be aware of who she is, but the audience has to meet her. And they did in the beginning of this episode. So if you weren't aware, now you know.
And she wanted this power. She says, I want this so people could take me seriously. And by the end of the episode, she's saying, I don't know. I just feel like I'm being backed into a corner. I said, by who? Who is it? Who is it that's backing you to a corner? Because it looks like you have put you in the corner. You decided to take this role, but now you want everybody to volunteer to go up. So you actually don't actually have to use the role. You want the role. You want it to happen, but you don't want to be the one to say the words. You're like, some people, please just nominate yourself so I ain't got to, and I can get credit for this, and then I can move on. I mean, it worked for Vinny, so I guess she thinks it'll work again. But no, she's sadly mistaken. We see her crying by the end. Luckily for her, there are two people who are always going to be options, and then she managed to manufacture a third.
I'm so surprised. We've had this whole season where one person in particular has been I don't want to win HOH. I don't want to make nominations. I don't want to put anybody on the block. And that's somebody that she's kind of associated with in Riley. I had no idea that coming into a Lauren HOH, she was going to say, hold my beer. Like, I will outdo you in not wanting this power, not wanting to do anything with this HOH. And like, of course, like the obvious answer is like, okay, you shouldn't have won it if you didn't want to wield this power, if you wanted to stay in this middle spot in the game. But it was funny to actually see it play out where, everyone got knocked out. It was almost like 6 people at once. All were gone if Mickey didn't switch her answer at the last minute. So just by being good at quiz comps, look, Lauren just got out of high school a couple days ago. She's been studying. So I'm not surprised that she did well in this.
It's fresh.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because at the end of the episode, near the end of the episode, she says, I just want somebody to help me and like tell me what I should be doing, and nobody's doing that. And this is true because for as much as I've been frustrated with Lauren in this pre-nomination stage of her HOH, I am equally frustrated with players like Vince, who in this episode we saw him say like, hey, I wanted to make sure I talked to Lauren first so that I could be the one influencing her, which sounds really great in an episode. But let me tell you some live feed context. First of all, he's not the one that initiated that conversation. Lauren said to him, Vince, I want to talk to you. And he was like, what, like now? Yeah, now. And then she pulled him into the room. They spent like an hour and a half talking while everyone else was like filing in and out of the room, seeing them talk. And he did very little to influence her HOH. In fact, the most that he did do in that conversation was suggest to her that she nominate Kelly because Kelly might volunteer for her, which led to the subsequent volunteering. So for the second time, he has gotten Kelly, one of his allies, on the block. Congratulations, Vince. You did a great job influencing.
Well, that's the thing, Taran. He actually doesn't say, I want to influence her. He says, I want to make sure that no one else influences her. He went in there to like, hey, you're so sweet. You're so kind. This game is too hard for you. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. If they come to you and say something, you stand on your 2 feet. He should have been trying to influence her. No, he went in there just to like be a listening ear. Where the whole time, I'm like, we're all at home screaming, you could just tell her, put up Ashley. She's begging you to tell her to do something. And instead he goes, no, you should ask Kelly. And you know what? To his credit, he didn't really throw Kelly under the bus because Kelly just went and dove underneath it. Whoop, there's me. I'm Kelly. Put me up again. I love being on the block.
He said, he said, hey, I don't know if you know this, but she volunteered for me. I think I've already heard her talking about being fine doing it again. You should ask her if she's willing to volunteer, because she brought up Kelly to say, I don't want to nominate Kelly. I would prefer to nominate Ashley. And he said, Ashley leaving would be my preferred outcome. However, Kelly might volunteer for you.
Yeah, Kelly doesn't want to influence her.
Kelly's like Vince's like little sister that snuck into the house with him, and he's like, I want to hang out with my friends. I don't want my sister here. Like, how do we get my sister away so I can hang out with the cool kids all summer? And it's just not, it's not happening. Every single week, the little sister is still here, and he's stuck. Like, this is an ally. Like, this is somebody, like, it's your sister. She's not going to turn on you. She's not going to vote against you. If she comes into power at any point in this game, he will be good with her, and he will have a good amount of influence on the week. And that is a key, valuable piece, obviously, especially as people are starting to catch on to him a little bit more. But he still wants her gone so badly, so he can just hang out with his friends and not have to keep checking in on his little sister.
He's like, who let you back in the house, Meg? That's how he acts whenever she was in. He's like, you still here? Why don't you volunteer to be on the block again? It's just, that is your ally. That's your number one. We saw the number one conversation that he had with, they do the flashback to day 9 where him and this girl, Lauren, forgot her name. They come up with this final 2 plan or whatever. But him and Kelly have been doing this thing since day 1. And he's just like willing to play, just go do what you think. Go on the block. Maybe you'll win the blockbuster. Maybe you'll win the veto. Who knows? Like, he's playing so fast and loose, but some of them are, we start the episode with Jimmy kind of being like, I think people are mad at me. It's like, why do you think that, Jimmy? Why is their ally going out the door on your HOH? This is not a good move. He says, I look back on the week and it doesn't feel like a bad HOH. It feels like a successful one to me. I was like, what are you talking about? Y'all don't know what y'all talking about.
Remember when she called you a snake in front of the whole house, and now everyone's kind of looking at you a little funny, even your own allies?
He's like, I was right. She called me a snake, so I must have been right about getting her out. Look at that.
And now everyone's walking into this week like, oh, it's so crazy that like that side of the house just can't win power. Power's been last week they had it 3 days ago.
Yeah, so let me try to like explain the situation, because we were on the podcast on Thursday night and Rob asked me the way that Lauren described the house, is it correct? And I said no, but it's the way she sees the house, so that's it's accurate to the way she sees the house. And so obviously that's the way that Lauren comes into this HOH, feeling that there are 2 sides of the house, primarily split by gender, and that she is in the middle of those 2 places. That was not strictly true when she won HOH. However, by the time she makes her nominations, she has in some ways kind of created that divide, and it's only kind of furthering in that direction. But the primary thing here is that she does have some problems in the house. One of them is Morgan, who is sort of on again, off again, mad at Lauren for, I think, maybe being a little too close to Zach at times, for being too close to Catherine at times. Her association with Catherine is putting her in a bad position in the game. We saw that in the episode. Mickey was saying she's close to Catherine. I'm worried, or sorry, it was Ashley was saying she's close to Catherine. I'm worried that Catherine is going to convince Lauren to put me up on the block because of Showergate, which is actually pretty accurate. Like, Catherine and Ashley do not get along, and it does apparently stem primarily from Showergate, but Ashley also kind of just makes people mad at her all the time anyway, with other things. Yes. Another thing that Ashley has made Catherine mad about is that she consistently keeps like bringing up the Catherine Riley showmance to people and them, and also told Riley that Catherine's like not into him, and all kinds of like just out of pocket things. And so Lauren has been in trouble because of that. Vince has also been in some trouble with specifically Ashley and Rachel, who are looking at Vince as a threat in the game, somebody that's close to too many people. And that's why Vince is very okay with an Ashley nomination. However, he is not pushing for that. And ultimately, we see that Lauren decides to put up Vince, Kelly, Keanu. Will, Kelly, and Keanu. Kelly and Keanu are both technically allies of both her and Vince. And Will is her pawn from what she sees as the other side, somebody who's connected very tightly with Morgan and Mickey and them. So in the process of doing this, she pisses them off while nominating 2 of her own people. Instead of nominating somebody like Ashley, who she would have had a good reason to do so initially, and kind of like moving the target over into that direction. So that's where a lot of this is coming from. And there's a lot of context. I know, I apologize, but they left so much out of this episode that it really felt like such a nothing burger, because the whole thing was based on like, well, is Mickey going to use her power? And quite frankly, from what we saw in the feeds, it was almost instantaneous that she, A, learned what the nominations were likely going to be, and B, said, that's almost best case scenario for us. Let's let Lauren do our dirty work for us.
I mean, to be fair, I guess the other side of the house is so undefined because they haven't gotten together in the way that the Mickey and Morgan side of the house is much more bonded. But also a lot of that isn't even fully told on the show. Of course, we kind of get the main idea. We've gotten the name with the heavy hitters and I forget what the 3 group. Triple Threat maybe is called. So like we kind of get that, but again, we had to be introduced to Catherine tonight as well to understand the Catherine and Lauren dynamic. So we'll see when Catherine shows back up in the next couple of weeks. Riley doesn't exist on the show because he's not a player in the game. He just lives in the house with the rest of them. So I think they're having a hard time figuring out where to go with the story. And then as far as Lauren's nominations are concerned, among all of that, I kind of get at first her instinct to still be in a spot where, coming out of this week, she will be okay because if Keanu or Kelly goes home, no one's mad at her. I get that. But if the sides are forming in the way that it seems like they kind of are, this is your opportunity to take someone out from the other side. And as we'll get to probably by the end of this podcast, I don't know if she is going to get exactly what she wants out of the week, because maybe she would have wanted one or two more people on the block that are associated with who she might have to put up on the block. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, her HOH is kind of like her number one ally is Vinny's. It's just very spineless and feckless. It's like, make a move. You're trying so hard to not piss off anybody. You're putting up people who can work with you, and these people have been blessed over and over again. Veto wins and like powers and all kinds of stuff. And it's really making these bad plays like, okay, exactly. Like the outcome is like, oh, okay, well, in retrospect, it wasn't that bad. No, this is bad and you should be punished. Like, that's how I watch Big Brother. When you do bad things, your allies need to go home. You need to but you need to stay. You need to stay and deal with the consequences. You know what I'm saying? When you volunteer to go on the block, you're supposed to go home. Kelly, why are you still here? There are several people who are doing things that I don't like, and I've been rooting against them, but then they stick around and like, well, maybe one more week of drama. I don't know. But yeah, all this extra stuff is really saving them. And I don't know if it's because of, the blockbuster twist is now giving people that one last out that they can use to do these bad things and still get something out of it. But by the grace of God, they have made it this far.
Yeah. Well, there was something very important that the episode showed us. And that was, Matt, you might have a particular insight on this. Pizza pie.
Yeah, this was a very rang true to home, to Long Island, and of course Ava was the one leading the conversation. Yeah, it's a pie. I can totally get if so when you're not in the tri-state area, so I've heard, and so I've experienced. Pizza places are not as common and not as good. And so, just like the terms used, such as ordering a pie, I guess maybe isn't as common. Vince is a California boy, but, he's Italian. So there was a lot of confusion going on here. I just didn't expect it to be over this. I thought, surely you've at least heard this before. You've been to New York at least once, right? Maybe no, maybe not. Doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't seem like it. I mean, I was at first baffled by the concept that he might have never heard this in his life before. He did sort of explain it when he said, oh, I'd heard it. I just thought it was kind of an old-fashioned thing that people didn't do anymore. Oh, okay, maybe. Maybe.
He said, grow up. He said, y'all still calling it pie after all this time? Come on, y'all. We on pizza now. I'm a Texan. That's pizza. That's pizza.
I'd like one pizza, please.
Yeah, I would like give me a pizza. I want a pizza to go.
I'd like one of the pizzas.
A slice.
I want a slice of pizza. Slice. Yes. Yeah, but then he's like, you asked me if you want to go get a pie. There are like several different places that I could take you, but it's never none of them are going to offer pizza.
The question must be answered, and I think, Matt, you are the only one qualified to do so. Because Vince asked this question, and it did make me think about this question. I think it was a good one. If you call pizza pie, what do you call pie?
Pie.
Is it just like a meat pie?
No, I mean, I think at that point you clarify apple pie, cranberry.
Like it's a flavor of dessert pizza? Apple pie, lemon meringue pie, pizza pie.
If you're in New York and you're like, man, I really want some pie, but not pizza. How do you say, I really want some?
You gotta be very
look. Context is important. Are we talking about a dessert party, or are you coming over for dinner and we're gonna order a pie? Like, if it is, the plans are for the afternoon, or even cut all the way to the end of the night, that Chappell's maybe a little bit more used to, and you're gonna order in a pie. You're gonna order in a pizza pie, not apple pie.
I don't know, man. I'm having a birthday party. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring pie. Bet I'm pulling up looking for apple. I'm picking up looking for pear. Peach.
I mean,
all the pies, maybe chocolate. But
Vince is going to be so confused when he gets to Ava's first, house party. They go to like the New York premiere party for BB28, and she's going to have everybody over in her carless home, and she's going to order a pie. And Vince is going to have dinner before he comes because he's going to assume it's just dessert. And even though they have this conversation, it's going to escape his mind. And I don't know. He apologized to Enzo and Cody for not knowing this. I'm like, what do they have to do with this?
Yeah, isn't Vinny's name?
He's really hoping he's included in the next BB All Stars Alliance.
I mean, the next BB All Stars Alliance has Enzo and Cody again.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? But all right, sure. It's funny. I feel like every day. I mean, I know this was in a diary room, but I feel like Vinny peels a little bit more back of like I'm a big fan of the show. He's trying to hide it, but can't hide it.
Well, we also saw Rachel make a new final 2 with Ava.
We did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. Finally, we're so used to giving, and now it's our time to receive an alliance that I can support wholeheartedly. But Rachel says, I want to go to the end with Ava because I think I can beat her. And to that, I say, it's the third elimination, and I will tell you right now, you cannot beat her in this game, and you cannot beat her for AFP. You do not need to sit anywhere near that lady. In fact, you need her gone ASAP if you want to win any type of money this season.
Yeah, I can understand, I guess, a little bit of why she feels that way. Like from her point in the house, everybody just keeps saying, oh, we can pull in Ava. She can be an additional vote. So, they're not seeing the game that Ava's playing just in the sense that she's so safe right now. But obviously she sees that she's a valuable piece to pull in and work with. But I don't know, just at the end of the day, Rachel's watched so many seasons of Big Brother. She'll figure out eventually, right, that the likability factor goes a really long way in a final 2. She'll get there.
I think, Matt, for Rachel's point of view, she doesn't make it to the end without being Rachel Riley. So at some point, she's going to turn it on. And if she starts winning challenges and floaters grab like that and doing the Rachel greatest hits, then it's kind of like, how do you deny the material? But we have seen people deny better material in the past, okay? Like if you sit at that final 2 with Ava, you are begging people. Like people, Taran, you talked about, Big Brother where, Ian goes on to beat Dan. And there's some question about, could Dan have beaten anybody? But there are definitely some people in that house that maybe Dan could have beaten, but Ian was not the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like Ava is not the person. There's way too much talk about who I can beat in final 2 right now.
Right, we just got here.
I'm willing to accept the who do we want in jury stuff. I think that's fine. Yeah. The who do I want in my final 2 right now is a silly thing to do because there's way too much time. You don't know the consistency of the jury yet. You don't know what kind of game the person you're playing with will have played at that point. It's just a silly thing to talk about.
I mean, the jury thing is also just a little wild. They're not going to be filling that house up until like mid-September. It is still July.
They could always surprise them with a 9-person jury.
Early September. And here we are in July. It is going to be a minute before we get there. But look, I appreciate the nature of that conversation because it has put Rachel in a pretty good spot in the game. They all want her in jury. I like that. But it still feels early. And of course, yes, far too early to be talking about final 2s and whatnot. But look, a lot of people on the Mickey Morgan, Jimmy side of the house are playing, they're trying to write out every step of this game. Like they have a journal in their hands and they can just list out, week to week to week, what's going to happen. And plenty of people have tried to do that before. Of course, it never works out. It's never going to. More than half of them are going to be gone again by September. But hey, we love to see the ambition. It's a lot more than, the Cat and Riley and others are really giving us at the moment. So
I'm just happy Rachel has an ally that isn't god awful at this game. At this point, Ava is fine and probably above average compared to a lot of these people that Rachel has been aligned with. Amy was doing herself no favors as Rachel's number 1 ally. Ashley, also bad. Keanu, also bad. Okay, I'll take this. And
well, Rachel, now you talk about someone she could beat in the final 2.
Right, look, but he doesn't want to go he doesn't trust her enough to play any rounds with her this far.
We may be in progress, Chappell.
Look,
maybe
again,
a little bit.
Talking about the episodes, but like so far, we have not seen him play ball with Rachel on TV. Now, if she is able to somehow will them to the end together, then she might have a chance. But I mean, to this point, Ava's the most solid thing that she has from my point of view.
I mean, I guess it's worth remembering that like Rachel made it pretty deep with Jordan the season she won. And I actually don't recall off the top of my head, but I'm reasonably certain that like she wasn't planning to like betray Jordan and cut her before the final two. So it's not like this is necessarily out of character for Rachel either to pick a very likable person to align with and then plan to take them to the end.
But now she'd be fighting for the well, no, she couldn't be a 2-time winner if Jordan became the first 2-time winner. If that happened, she would now be trying to be a 1-time winner. But hey, whatever. And officially, Reindeer Games does not count. We have learned this narrative of being a 2-time winner in Big Brother. I don't know. Nicole brought it up on the Unlocked episode.
She said that out loud.
Nicole Franzel said, I am the winner of Big Brother 18 and Big Brother Reindeer Games. Man, but not a 2-time winner.
Those are true statements.
Yeah, 2 separate statements. That lady did not win Big Brother twice. Now, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to see her beat Cody. I know I'm in the minority for that one. Everybody was like so happy when he cut her. I would have loved to see her beat him in the final 2 or cut him or something like that. But no, she does not get credit for winning Big Brother twice. Not yet. I could see a world where she comes back again and plays again, and she probably do well.
Well, let's see. What else was in the episode? Because they're really Mickey's power, right? I already kind of described this. Like she really was not planning to use this. Another thing that they're not really showing us in the episodes, and maybe for good reason, maybe for bad reason, but I'm gonna tell you, everyone knows Mickey has this power. Not what it is, but they all very heavily suspect that she has it. And you should know this as a viewer, even just from the episodes, because you saw Zach basically see her win it. And so he has, of course, told many people this. It is spread around. Most people have a very good idea that she has this power. If she had tried to use it here, it is very unlikely that it would have actually worked, because Lauren would very likely have chosen her as the person that used it, and it would not have happened.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Because like the idea that like Riley could win HOH and we could not have to actually deal with that. Actually, turns out maybe this week we wouldn't have had to actually deal with given the way that things have been going. But yeah, far too many people know it's going to flop at this point, and really would be nice to just kind of get it over with and have it come into play, so we're not talking about this every week till jury. At least like the Zach thing, we forgot. No one remembers that's a thing. I mean, Will said it in the episode, but
it might actually be my nightmare if every single Sunday episode until jury, it has the main storyline be, am I gonna use the power this week? Because that would just
it takes me back
ready.
It takes me back to BB20 where Tyler is like, and I still have my cloud power, and I still have my cloud power. And then he gets to the final
two. Like, never on the block, so it didn't like we never had to listen to him talk about it.
It wasn't the main storyline, Taran, but when he gets to the final 2, and he's like, and I didn't even use my cloud power. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like, boy, that was a month ago. Stop it. 2 months ago, really. So yeah, I can see that happening again. This is, I don't know. I just feel like she should have been more aggressive with the power. You know, like I think maybe it was you, Taran, who was talking about like, you know, maybe you come in and you have an ally potentially come in and say they have it, you know, or something like that. Like spin Zach's head around a little bit, you know, make Morgan spread it around to where people believe Morgan had it or something like that. But now there's a rift between Morgan and Mickey. These people just cannot keep it together. But I just think that had they gone in a little bit more aggressive with the power instead of using it defensively, we could have gotten a little bit different of an outcome here. But it's spread around the house and people are just waiting for her to try to use it so that they can suss her out.
What do you guys think about the concept of Big Brother Ghost Island? As we saw it on Survivor, where a season full of twists of powers from players like these, Mickey's HOH that's never going to become hers, Tyler's cloud power, Bailey had a power she never. You could go through history. There's so many out there. Bring them all back.
All the fallen powers, the Lawan power. You know, it's not even a power. It's just
right the wrongs, and then just another way to get the alumni involved. I could see it.
I mean, the thing about these powers is that like there's a reason usually that none of them were used. Like
You gotta
faulty
rewrite
game
the
design.
history. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know the producers are pissed because they threw all these powers in the game and said, surely Rachel will get one
Rachel,
of them. Do something, girl. Somebody just hand her one. Which
there's three.
Big Brother's not above just handing somebody a power, but they heard us complaining about the Paul thing.
The lights were off.
Right.
A producer could have handed it to her, put it in her hands.
Give this to Rachel. That's all this was they
Rachel,
were trying to
at the back corner.
Please, we're trying to save this season. She didn't get nothing. I don't know, Rachel, but you might be right. Yeah, you might be right, Rachel. You might have lost a little bit of your little, we gotta turn it on. Turn it on. Let's do it.
Modern Big Brother.
We did also see it's been referenced many times at this point. The sort of the end result of Lauren's indecision and I would say inability to sort of like handle any kind of difficult conversation, which is her just staring at the HOH monitor while trying to talk to people. The social skills are lacking here.
I posted about this today, and I had no idea that it would be a whole segment on the episodes. I was just watching feeds this afternoon and watching her talk to specifically Ashley, which we'll get to that later.
That was a bad one.
But the entire time she's staring at the screen, and my post was just like, please turn that screen off, to force her to look at Ashley. Like, what are we doing? Like, just if I'm production, I'm just like turning it off for 5 minutes to make her there's no eye contact whatsoever. And then at times Ashley's also looking up at the screen because that's where Lauren's looking, and Lauren's not looking away from the screen. I was so surprised when this was, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised because she's been using this tactic since she won this HOH, that everybody that comes in her room that she doesn't want to, that's not Vince. She's just staring at the screen the whole time. And look, we're not all experts at eye contact. There's plenty of us that would probably do the same thing, but it seems like she's doing it very intentionally. And you just, you can, what color are Lauren's eyes? I have no idea. She's not looking at me ever. Not once.
She wanted this power. Why would you go get this if you knew you couldn't lie to people's face? Like it's like she pulled a prank on somebody and she's like trying to hold in her smile, like, and they're looking at it. She's like, what is that? Yeah, but Keanu sits next to her and says, "What are we looking at?" And she's like, "She said, you tell me, man. This is like a dining room table. I don't know. Maybe we just staring. It was way worse for Ashley." But again, Lauren, you shouldn't have put yourself in this position. You were actually fine where you were. You didn't have to do this. People are trying to protect you. People think Kat is the bad guy. You don't even really like Kat like all that much. You dealing with her. You align with her, but you kind of fine if she goes too a little bit. Like, you didn't have to go and try to prove something in week 3. There is so many other competitions for you to use and make yourself useful. And there were so many people that would have had no issue putting people on the block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, it's not like you can't struggle with eye contact or maybe have an awkward way of like communicating. This is more so, I think, Chappell. I think like the kid who broke something in the house, who can't even look at their parent. She's like, I'm gonna have to nominate this person, but I have no idea how to say it or deal with this at all. Another technique that she's tried to use is just saying, please don't talk to me. I don't want to talk game with anyone.
I just need the day off. So who was it? Was like, people are fighting for their lives right now. Okay. You're like going to take the day off. I think it was Morgan. She was pissed. But yeah, it's like, what do you mean you just go take the day off? You just not going to talk to me. And when you're in the confines of that HOH room, I know she's just praying, somebody please walk in. Somebody, for the love of God. And she's staring at that camera, hoping that she sees somebody go up the stairs. There's nothing there. Nobody's going to save you, Lauren. You got to sit in this uncomfortableness, and it's driving her crazy. But it's fun to watch on the show. It's not fun to watch on the feeds. Dear God.
I heard Lauren has like dreams of moving to New York City. I don't know if she already has or if she's doing that sometime soon. It was a big topic of conversation with her and Rachel today. But I can just like picture Lauren at any, call it a pizza place, anywhere in the city. She's going to, plop down on her laptop and just look out at all of the people walking by the window for hours and hours and hours. And I just think it kind of might not even have anything to do with the game. I think she just might be fascinated like by the distraction of watching something else, because the table is empty. There's no one in the kitchen and she's staring at the screen. So maybe it's a little bit of both, but she will thrive in New York City. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes. Well, they edited out quite a lot of drama in the prenoms, I would say. Curiously so, because it would have made for, I think, a more interesting episode. We saw a little bit of like Lauren like crying up in the HOH room, but there was a whole thing that happened prenoms where Mickey made a late push to prevent Will from going up and to push Adrian on the block instead. And it kind of worked. She went into a spiral, talked to Vince, who agreed with Adrian going up on the block, basically, and didn't push back at all, which then spun her into a further spiral. She started walking out. I likened it to like Cillian Murphy in 28 Days Later, into the empty streets of London. In this case, the Big Brother house. Like, oh, what is somebody? I need to talk to somebody, tell me what to do. And ended up freaking out. Ava has to have like a talk with her and settle her down. She's in tears. She's sobbing. She's like back and forth. Can it be Will? Should it not be Will? Should it be Adrian? I need to talk to Adrian. Maybe Adrian will be okay with it. They also cut out the part where Will had already been told he was going up on the block before Lauren talked to him. And so when she went up to Will, he immediately went, I already know. And then she quoted that like 15 times the rest of the day. It was there was so much here. And I'm a little, as you can tell, annoyed that we didn't get it, because I think that it was more interesting than a lot of the things we did get. But I'm letting you know now.
Yeah, no, that Will conversation, they gave us a little taste of how he really felt. But like you could get the frustration that he was trying to convey of like, I'm the old guy. There's all these people with powers and they've won and this and that and $10,000. Why are you picking me? But the way that conversation started in reality of like within seconds of Lauren popping outside and Will being like, I already know. Like the tone was off. That's why Lauren was so nervous to have that conversation. I mean, she's talking to someone that is 30 years older than her, that she has a lot of respect for. She didn't feel good about doing it, but it just felt like an easy pick. So when she goes to him and he immediately like seems disappointed in her, as it like a fatherly figure that's like disappointed sounding in her, that shook her right away. And that's why she kept bringing it to other people throughout the day. So the fact that was all missing from the conversation and you just kind of had to piece together how upset Will was annoying editing, because that's not exactly what was going on.
I just want to talk to my cousin Will, Uncle Will. I just need to discuss, because the thing he does is basically fold and say like, I know it's me, and then like pout about it. And like, well, I don't know why you picking me, but whatever, it's fine. Like, throw out a name. Tell her to go pick anybody else. Pick somebody. Don't tell us. Tell her. Put your foot down. You think she could stand up to you, Lauren? The way she's been acting in this house, she's dying to be pushed around. She wants somebody to tell her what to do. We go, and if you cut to Kelly, she goes to Kelly, and Kelly's like, I got it. I'll be on the block. She goes to Keanu, and he's like, yeah, I guess I'm the house pariah, but let me try to give you somebody else. And then she goes to Adrian, and Adrian's like, I'm not even going to give you the inkling that you could put me up. Put up anybody but me. She even says it. I was waiting on him to volunteer, hoping and praying he would just be like, I'm fine. But he didn't do that. Will, put your foot down. Tell her, it's crazy for you to put me up. I'm your ally. You think you respect me. I respect you. Put up Riley. Put up Adrian. Put up somebody. Anybody but me. And he just kind of folded a little bit and had a pity party about it. So I feel bad for Will, but you got to be more active.
Yeah, the passive aggressive.
I completely agree.
Wasn't
he needed to be, because I do think he could have talked her out of it. I will push back slightly on one thing, which is that I do think in this position you should be a little careful about naming names, given that Will is likely going like in a position where he might end up on the block anyway. Usually in that spot, if you try to name names, it's just used against you later. Like once you're on the block anyway, now it's like, well, now that Lauren wants you out, she's going to say, did you know, Riley, that he named you? He wanted you on the block instead of him. But what he absolutely definitely should have done was say, do not do this. Mm-hmm. Do not do this. I am a number for you. Like literally anybody else, I think would have been fine. And then of course use other people to hopefully push specific others. But otherwise he did, because this is the problem. He really didn't put up enough of a fight. As we said, he basically accepted it immediately by saying, I already know. It's fine. Whatever. Man.
Taran, we saw JC at the ceremony go, no. And they were like, okay, never mind. Like, that was it. It was all it took. He's like, not like this. Not like this. And I said, well, damn, I can't argue with that. It just switched. Fight for your life, man. What are you doing? I can't feel bad that you're the old guy getting like left out when you're not actively trying to improve your position. You're just kind of floating right now. You're just chilling in the middle, and that's okay. But don't let yourself become a part, because he even outlines it. Once you're up there once, the next feckless, spineless person is going to put up the same people who were already up. Kelly's going up, Keanu's going up, and then yo ass. And so you got to make sure you're not in this position. Look at Amy. She's gone now.
Yeah, he's annoyed at production for not putting in more older house guests. And he said this a couple times, not explicitly so, but just saying like, this is impossible. Like, how the hell do you ever expect me to make these social bonds with the people that are so much younger than me in the first place, and they're all around the same age? How do you ever expect me to make this work? And he's not like, he's kind of saying this to some people and saying this out loud. Obviously, like, production can hear, but like his frustration with that and with something that he unfortunately can't change. Look, if we could all change it, we probably would.
Fair criticism.
Yeah, of course, 100%. But his situation here and now, like, he can't necessarily change that, and so it's not like, taking it out on just like just being angry with the situation and just giving Lauren this. I already know, whatever. Like, it is what it is. It's always going to be me because I'm the older guy here. That's not going to get him anywhere in this particular game. It would be great. Look, get out of the house this season and really like make this your platform, and we will all get behind you, Will. We're ready to fight this fight with you. But here and now, it's been tough to watch it.
It's tough, but when you give him young people that want to work with him, he's not using their influence to his advantage. He's good with Ava. Ava is the queen of the house. Everybody loves her. If Ava is your ride or die and she knows it and y'all have solidified this bond, it's kind of like they like aligned, but they ain't locked in. This is not the Renegades. It's like he needs to be like, Ava, they coming for me, girl, help me. And she like, bet, I got you. And then boom, I guarantee this goes away. He got Mickey doing some of the work and it worked, but he has routes to do this. So it's like, I feel bad for him, but it's not your fault. It's your problem and you got to fix it.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from the episode tonight before we get into some spoilers?
You sure we talked about the Nolan twins enough?
I think so. What I do love is Keanu, the way he like goes and like, bro, Adrian, we did it, man. I can't believe, bro, we came off the box. They thought they had us. Adrian's like, I'm targeting Keanu. I was like, yes. I love a loud and wrong Big Brother player. This is great. Keep him around.
Adrian's taller than I thought. Every time I see him standing up next to, because I feel like he's not on the show a lot, not on the feeds a lot. He's a taller guy than I expected. If anybody has the height, let me know.
All right. Well, that's it for the episode. Then let's get into some spoilers.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
Yes, some spoilers from the feeds. I can let you know that with Will, Keanu, and Kelly on the block, they competed in the HOH. And this time, Casey was not there to beat them all. So, Keanu came out on top. One of the first things said when the feeds came back from the veto competition was Will basically saying, yep, that one was made for a 25-year-old strong person. He apparently had a lot of trouble physically in the competition. Keanu saying that one was basically made for me. If all competitions are like that, I'm never going to lose. So Keanu's feeling pretty good. And he will be taking himself off the block, essentially fixing to some degree the mistake that Lauren made by nominating him and Kelly in the first place. And so I might have said something other than veto. He won the veto. And so to replace Keanu, the plan is now for Lauren to, as I said, correct the mistake and actually go ahead and nominate Ashley, with Ashley being the new target.
Now, if only it were that easy to lock in this decision, we wouldn't have such a.
The decision is locked. The decision was locked before the veto. It was even won by Keanu. If he won, it was always going to be Ashley. She said it was Ashley, and yet all day today, it's just been nonsense back and forth. And I just know that on Wednesday's 90-minute episode, they're going to act like all of these conversations matter at all when they don't, when she's already made the decision, but keeps talking about it. And they're going to spend the entire episode, but what if I don't do it? What if it's Adrian? Let's count the votes. And I'm going to lose my mind watching it.
I mean, this HOH has kind of been our nightmare, but it sounds like production's dream to be able to edit that together. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's recontextualize this. She backdoored Ashley like she always intended to do. All of the rest of this was smoke and mirrors. She's lying to us. She's lying to production. She's lying to her allies. The whole time, Lauren was locked in. She said, I'm a super fan. I've been watching this show since I was 9 years old. I'm going to backdoor Ashley. She's my biggest op. She's coming for Vinny, and I'm going to take care of this. And look, Taran, history will look back. She will one day be on the Diary Room podcast, and people are going to be like, is she a good player? And like, well, she did backdoor her number one threat here, and she got credit for this. She won HOH. Like, look at the material. She did it. All of these mistakes have now been righted because Keanu has won the veto.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been a tough watch, unless you really like Lauren and Vin's conversations, because those have really dominated a lot of the feed time in the past couple of days. And that's like the only person Lauren wants to talk to. It's funny. Like, we thought it was like Lauren and Kat were like the close allies. And here we have just nothing but Lauren and Vince and other people coming in to try to make their pitches. And none of it matters. It's just the same thing. Lauren looking up at the screen to avoid the eye contact, people talking amongst themselves, the Rachel side of the house being like, well, what do we say? What do we say to convince her? Nothing you say is going to work. None of these pitches ever work, let alone here. It's done.
Yeah, when the feeds are empty calories, you fear for what the episodes are. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what the feeds have been today. I have no significant update from this morning, but what I can tell you, if you haven't been listening to the live feed updates, is that this move is important. And I do and have credited Lauren for finally kind of coming to her senses and realizing that if she's going to have a target amongst these nominees, it should be somebody that she's not working with and that doesn't, work with her or trust her. And in her mind, that is Ashley. Now, in my mind, if you're going to do Ashley, you kind of might as well just do Rachel, Morgan, Nikki, like, that's kind of the play at this point. But Ashley is certainly leagues better than what she's already been doing. And with Ashley as the new target, she is having people rally around her, people like Zach. Now, Vince, I don't count because he doesn't support anybody. He will support whoever is, the person that he is with in the moment. But Zach counts. Keanu, Kelly, Adrian, a lot of these people, Riley and Catherine, they are rallying around Lauren, saying, we will vote out Ashley this week and we will be the new power in the house. And Keanu, of all people, is the person who realizes the power of this the most. He is all of a sudden talking sense. Because he's saying, all we need to do, guys, is come together. I've been saying this from the start. We make a big alliance and we win HOH next week and the rest of them will scatter because they don't have power. And I'm like, why is it Keanu saying this? Because it's totally true.
He lies. This man lies like a rug.
Look, Rachel Riley has done everything she can to get into this man's head. And if nothing else, just get him to wake up to the game. I don't know that this is exactly where she meant to point him in the direction of, but she's got him thinking a little bit more rationally than maybe prior to this week. And look, if he starts to make a little bit of sense, I'm giving an extra point to Rachel.
It's a broken clock, y'all. It is. Keanu is always wrong, and finally he landed on the right thing. And tomorrow he'll change his mind. It'll be something else, or next week it'll be something else. If he gets power, he'll target one of his own allies. Like I can't trust him to do the right thing. And I know Rachel's tired. She spent the entire first week saving her number one ally with her number two ally right there beside her. Jimmy and Rachel and Amy. They were locked. They were trying to keep Amy from going home. Jimmy wins power, and he immediately decides to get Amy out of the house. Why was Amy on the block? Amy had no business on the block at all. She didn't have to hit the block. There were other options. I know Rachel was exhausted. She's like, damn, I can't win for lose. And now again, she's at a position where now she's about to lose another ally. And the one person that she's been trying to work with the most, Keanu, is going to be the person who really decides to put the nail in the coffin. And he was defending her at points. There were definitely points where I was like, wait, let him cook. Let him cook. I really want to see what this looks like. But damn, if Rachel is a victim to this house splitting, and it's Keanu's doing, I'm gonna die laughing. Actually,
I wouldn't call it Keanu's. I mean, this is Lauren's doing. To be clear, Keanu's just like the one who seems to understand how powerful it can be, because Lauren is doing it, but she's very scared. Whereas Keanu obviously has much less to lose, right? Please, and is fight each other, much more excited about it. Yeah. But like Keanu understands the power of this more than anyone else right now, I think, and so he's advocating for it. And of course, from the perspective of Lauren, she's like, yeah, let him think that he's convincing me to do this. Let him think that that's what we're doing. When in reality, and this is the reality, he's at the bottom of whatever side they're forming, and will just be used by them as a number and as a weapon against the other side. But Rachel has mended some things with Keanu to a decent degree at this point. And he is not looking specifically at her, as you mentioned, Chappell. He's defending her in conversations. He's primarily looking at Mickey and Morgan right now, who are, they were already giving kind of like Brooklyn and Chelsea vibes, and they almost especially are when Brooklyn and Chelsea kind of had their downfall, because they're really starting to rise up on the target list. We'll see if they have a similar trajectory. But that is the current situation. The house is kind of about to go to war. And as I said, credit to Lauren for finally realizing she needed to make the move, but it might be too late, because here's the thing. If Ashley wins the blockbuster competition, then Kelly is very likely the one to leave, though not guaranteed. It could still be Will if that side of the house realizes that they are currently at war, which might happen. But losing Kelly means starting a war by taking out one of your own soldiers, which is essentially what Jimmy did last week, minus the start a war part. And this, of course, only further highlights just how bad his HOH was, targeting Amy of all people, and then walking into the next week on the wrong side of the numbers while Lauren declares war.
Yeah, and again, it's looking around like, if only we could win, if only we could have the power on our side. You literally did last week. I don't know how this war is going to go when it comes to this side of the house that, Lauren, Kat, Riley, whoever else. Again, they're so discombobulated. They don't even recognize the power that they have. And maybe Keanu could, probably not. I also don't have the faith in him to have this be a long lasting thing going forward. Because you also, I feel like, have a lot more gamers on the other side, just people that I think are going to be even more motivated to try to keep winning these competitions. And in any competition that maybe more skill is involved or anything like that, I have a little bit more faith in them. But they have to make better decisions other than Amy going out like happened last week, because they, again, have the brains, they have the power, they have, or maybe the power that's not going to actually be the power. I feel they are capable players over there. They're getting the higher ratings in the stock watch most of the time. But this week could be a pretty big make or break in what's about to come. So at least we have that.
Can I say something courageous? I just feel like if you really want to get Keanu on your side, I don't know, try targeting a woman. Okay, let's just put it out there, because for some reason he understands the concept of this when it's Ashley, Rachel, Morgan, Mickey, oh yeah, draw the line in the sand. No matter what Rachel wants to do, this man will not work with her. Meanwhile, Adrian is actively targeting him, and he's like, nah, we're bros, man, we're good. Benny targeting him, oh man, we're good. Every time a man is trying to target them, he's like, I can't see it. He was telling Zay to his face, I don't trust Rachel. It's crazy. So I was like, this is not what are you doing? It's like, you had to talk his language. And he said, let's get all the women out. And he said, bet. That's it.
But Chappell, it's not his fault. He works out with the guys. That's just a natural bond. It's not fair to say that that's, anything else. He just works out with them. So obviously he gets along with them is an argument that he's used.
They just, these same guys that they're working out with you, they are talking trash about you. They want you out of the game. They are not fans of you, and they're going to put you up too. They are going to put you up as a pawn. You know why? Because you've already been a pawn, and they are spineless and feckless too. It's you just have to speak Keanu's language, and it just occurred to me that's what it was. Why is he right all of a sudden? Because you are targeting people he wants to target. Insert the women.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well. Anything else? Anything else to bring up? Any topics from the feeds? Any topics from the week that you guys want to talk about?
I don't know how long Riley's game gonna last since people on Blue Sky been well, no, I'll say that for the slop. I'm just saying there might be a demon after him.
Oh boy, what a tease.
Yeah, it might be a demon after him that we may or may not talk about on a different show behind the paywall. I'll just say
Riley's got some demons of his own after other things, but that's also slop content. No, look, I'm worried for Lauren and her sanity. I don't know, her mental state. She has been going through it unlike any HOH in a long time. Somebody who just is so stressed out by the role, by having to have these conversations. I mean, she talked I think earlier today, she was like, oh, maybe throughout the day I'll have one-on-ones with everybody today. And that'll be, a good way to talk. And then like 2 people talk to her and she needs to talk to Vince to like debrief and like, let it all out and just really, kind of center herself again. So obviously, again, she's really having a hard time with this. I do think there's a good chance she comes out of this week okay, as she was hoping and intending, no matter what result they get. I mean, even if it's Ashley that goes, is the other side going to say, well, now we got to get you, Lauren? Like, she's still towards the bottom of that side anyways. I mean, yeah, maybe she goes on the block. I don't know. I think she's doing okay, but it's been a rough watch, both in the episodes and on the feeds, as she makes this power.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that's about it then for tonight's podcast. But that's not all that we've got for you this week. Because, of course, as Chappell teed up, the slop will be on Tuesday. It will, I assume, be very sloppy. Hold on. Look, we even got a little graphic for
Hey.
Hey.
slop
I look
graphic.
so
And
good in yellow. Look at me.
Look who's with you. Yeah.
Yeah, my boy, Quinn is coming. Yes, this is gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna ask Quinn all the awkward questions that alumni don't want to ask. I'm gonna get into the chat BCC drama. I'm gonna talk about this demon that's chasing Riley that may or may not have been purchased on the Etsy shop. I got so much to talk about, and I'm so happy that Quinn's gonna be stepping in Rob's absence. Check it out.
There is, of course, also the Stock Watch tomorrow, where we will be rating all of these players and figuring out what's going on. We'll rate the episodes and the feeds and the week and the players and all of the good stuff there on the Stock Watch tomorrow night. Check that out. Of course, it'll be live tomorrow morning for the live feed update. There it is. You can watch it. We'll see what, if anything meaningful comes out of the day. There were some funny conversations and some wild ones, so tune in tomorrow morning. And Chappell, you also have another podcast, Nothing But Netflix, is here. What is this?
Yeah, we talked about building the band. The full season is now out on Netflix. I had Lavina on because I needed somebody to just complain about pop bands and boy and girl groups all together. And me and Lavina just like, this is 2 old folks remembering the boy bands and girl bands of yesteryear, while also talking about this show that I thought was really cool. Check it out on Netflix, and then make sure you check out the podcast, nothingbutpod.com, and you can catch us, our beautiful faces, on the RHAP YouTube page as well.
Chappell, hear me out. Building the K-pop Demon Hunters band.
Look, the K-pop girlies are out there, and we could definitely get very far with that. So I'm down. Let's do it.
And also, apparently, there's plenty of drama over on Chat BCC if you want to check out what's happening there. between, I guess, Derek call outs and maybe demons. I guess I don't know.
No, the demons are on Blue Sky. The demons are on
okay.
Blue Sky. Yeah, you gotta keep all your social media stuff.
Listen. I'm still trying to figure out who the Australian twins are.
Oh, we gotta get that right after this. We're going.
Of course, also check out my book, Behind the Mirror. It's good. The reviews are coming in. People like it. So make sure you go to taranarmstrong.com, pre-order the book, and check all that out. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch as well, streaming during the episodes and all that good stuff. Matt, what are you up to?
I am hiding Amon from all of you guys. No, he's been obviously very busy. He's been missing from around here lately, but we've recorded a bunch of episodes of our podcast, The Diary Room, where we're trying to find the best player in Big Brother history. We've had some fun guests lately. We've had some cookout guests, Kyland and Azza. This week, Mari is joining us. And the next week after that, we already have an episode recorded with Quinn. So sharing the Quinn love all around. So check us out on the Diary Room podcast. And it's also new season of the challenge has began, season 41. So myself and Brian Scally are talking about the new season 41 with America, with Blue and Cedric. So some Big Brother alumni over there. Come check us out on the Free Agents podcast.
All right. Anything else, Chappell?
No, that's it. Check out my podcast, Recap Kickback. That's where I'll be doing what I do. YouTube.com/@RecapKickback. This week, Chantel is going to watch Flavor of Love season 1, episode 8 for the first time ever. She is going to see the altercation of a lifetime, and I cannot wait. Yeah, she's never seen it. We're going to have her live reaction on the podcast, and we're going to live and talk about it as well on YouTube this week on Wednesday. So make sure you tune in for that.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here tonight on the Recap podcast here on a Sunday night, and I will see all of you next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.